Hey everybody, welcome back again to Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy, where the proof is in the singing. I'm continuing my series on taking isolated vocal tracks. I'm doing a tutorial of vocal analysis, talking about the recording process, little backstories about the artist, etc. Next step is James Taylor. The song is called Fire and Rain. You guys know the song. But if you wouldn't mind, before we get started, please like and subscribe to my channel. That would be cool. Also, I have a singing course. So if you're interested in wanting to learn how to sing, or you're already a singer, intermediate singer, even an advanced singer, I have a course that's just incredible, where I walk you through step by step how these singers got to where they are in hopes to make you great at singing. I also have a free singing form. You guys can sign up for free right here at kentamplinvocalacademy.com. There's a forum link there as well. Just sign up, check it out, kick the tires a little bit, see if it's right for you. Even if you're not a singer and you're just interested in everybody talking about it, it's a pretty interesting forum. There's over 20,000 people in there talking about this stuff. So let's get back to James. Now James is an incredible character because it's one thing to be a singer-songwriter and write songs for other people, but it's another thing to have such a legendary, timeless piece like Fire and Rain still be with us to this day and still be venerated and cherished and played on a lot of radio. So now the song, as you know, is a tragedy, and there's a lot of songs like this that have been written about tragedy, and the problem about tragedy is that it cuts so close to home in our hearts that we relate to them in such a way that they stay with us for quite a while. So this song is no exception. There's obviously other songs like Tears in Heaven and just all kinds of songs about, even the Bee Gees have a song called Tragedy. But in their whole life, the whole Bee Gees story of the family was quite a tragedy. So we see that in a lot of these pieces where they stay around and they linger for a long time because they're so relatable. So because they're relatable and his voice is relatable, his songwriting itself is relatable, we're going to just dive right in. So here's James. Take it away, James. Here we go.
Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you.
Now, right out of the gate, here is such an unassuming, gentle, warm, disarming voice, right? So he's telling a story with such a purity about it and such an honesty about it. You know it's something he experienced. Now, I'm not saying other artists don't sing songs that are written by other people and they can internalize those and channel those songs into relating to the story as well. But there's just such a simplicity to it. And so, like I said, it's so disarming. Listen to it again. So immediately within the first couple lines, you're like, wow, I'm in his story. He's already in my mind, right? Check it out.
Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you.
So it didn't take him long for the first verse or a couple of verses, bam, he's drawn you into his story, and he didn't do it by screaming at you or jumping up and down or waving a flag. He just shared his heart. And I think that's genius. That is the genius of artistry. That's the genius of songwriting. And his voice is so unassuming. It's not like he's wowing us with all these trills and licks and everybody's singing a high note. No. In fact, this song is so relatable. And so just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Right. Okay, so let me show you something. Here's James. Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you, right? Now, if I was trying to showboat a little bit, it'd be, just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you, right? All of a sudden, I'm showing off so much in trying to wow you with my voice, so to speak, that I take away from the story, right? So there's an artistry in his doing this, and I'm not saying that he could even do what I just did the other part, or maybe he could, but it's so unassuming and it's so gentle and it's so sincere that you're taken right into the story without being distracted by a clever vocal, all right? Let's continue. Here we go.
I walked out this morning and I wrote down this song. I just can't remember who to send it to.
Right? Have you ever been so distraught in your life where, you know, he's singing this song, he's going, I have this crazy pain in my heart, so much sorrow and so much I'm just so upset, and I don't even know who to talk to. I don't even know who to share this with. I know I have to kind of externalize it, get it out, you know, unearth it. But wow. And you're going, I can totally relate that. You know, I'm so upset. I wrote this thing down and I can't even remember like why I'm doing this. I got to do something because I'm going to go nuts because I'm in such, you know, horrible depression or whatever. So let's continue. Here we go. I think that's really interesting. All right.
I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you again.
Now, when I think of songs like Christina Aguilera's Hurt, I think that's the one where she wrote the song about her dad. I think about how often we take people for granted. You know, David Gates, I think also in one of his songs, I'll think of it. In fact, I did a version of it and I'll release it soon. I haven't released that song yet, but it's not Diary. I'll think of what it is. But you know, think about like Christina Aguilera's Hurt. You know, we take people for granted. And by the way, I didn't mean to turn this into some big preachy thing, but I think it's really important because he did. That's his intent of the song, is that we take people and things so much for granted that they may not be here tomorrow. Have you lost a loved one? Have you lost a parent, a brother, a sister, you know, mother, grandparent, whatever? And they may have, like, you never thought that, you know, you always just thought you'd see him again. And so he hammers this point home, and it's really prescient and really important, I think, as an artist trying to communicate a value that we should take a listen to it, take it seriously. I do, because I do value the sanctity of life.
Won't you look down upon me, Jesus? You gotta help me make a stand. You just got to see me through another day.
See, he's calling on something beyond himself, in his case, Jesus, and he's expressing that, you know, there's got to be more to life than this. I've got to be able to pick myself up, and. So again, amazing that in such an unassuming voice, in such you know, you would expect it in the least of places like this, in the way it's being presented, that it could have such an impact, don't you think? Like someone whispering in your ear rather than yelling at you. It's pretty cool.
My body's aching and my time is at hand. I won't make it any other way.
Now, I heard an interview of him where he talked about this part of the song and his heroin addiction. And it was a 5-month rehab process that he went through, that he beat heroin. And so not only is the song about losing a loved one, not only is the song about needing, you know, to find something to preoccupy his mind and this and that, whatever, just to kind of whatever, just got to get minute by minute. There's an AA thing, you know, just one day at a time, and all these different, you know, amazing helps, so to speak, for people to get through stuff like this. He shares, and he wears his heart out on his sleeve, and he even shares it in interviews, that this whole part of this section of the song was about this horrible heroin addiction that almost killed him, and he called out to Jesus to help save him, and he attributes that in the song, which I think is really cool also. So let's continue.
Whoa, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. Seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you again.
Okay. Now, another thing is he's using symbolism. You know, I've seen fire, and I've seen rain, and I've seen lonely days I thought would never end, but it never dawned on me that I'd lose you and never see you again. What a trip. Like, plucked out, just stripped out of life right out from before him, and how we all can relate to that. And that is such a genius in the artistry of writing. I want to point out something else too while we're here. I want to go back to the top. I'll remember where this is, but I want to go to the top and show you his accompanying guitar playing too as it goes through it. Because while it's pretty tricky and fancy, and some of it's a little repetitive, but that's also the nature of the song. But I want to point this out because he's also a really good guitar player. I was able to get the tracks and put these together, but check this out.
Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you. I walked out this morning and I wrote down this song. I just can't remember who to send it to. I've seen.
So even though he's got a command of his instrument, his guitar, he knows where to step on the gas and where to pull back and to play for the song rather than stepping on the vocal, right? So it's almost like it's one person, it's the vocal and the guitar that come together as one. So he sings the line and then he shows you a little flash here and then he comes back, shows you a little more flash, and just how creative he is in doing that. So anyway, I thought I'd point that out. Here's the next part coming up here. Anyway, James Taylor, man.
Been walking my mind to an easy time, my back turned towards the sun. Lord knows when the cold wind blows, it'll turn your head around. Well,
so in other words, there's things in your life that it just goes, no matter what, you can't escape it. It's a yank on life of going, you're gonna see this and you're gonna look at this and face this and deal with this, whether you like it or not. And we all go through that, and he's expressing that here now to make us look at it, which is cool.
Well, there's hours of time on the telephone line to talk about things to come. Sweet dreams and flying machines in pieces on the ground. Whoa, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. Seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you, baby, one more time again now.
Okay, now I want to point out something else. If you notice too, I did a video, I think it was when I did the Cutting Crew, right? I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight. I think that was right. And I talked about different lyric tenors and different voice types that have this kind of sound where it's just almost monotone. Like I said, very unassuming, but his pitch is spot on. And I've actually seen him twice, not in person, on 2 different TV shows. And his pitch is always spot on. Kind of reminds me a little of Jerry Rafferty too. You guys remember Steelers Wheel? And he also, right in the way on the moon, and then she's got a and then he'll settle down in a quiet little town and forget about him. Remember that song? Okay, very similar kind of approach, very unassuming, very great songwriting, but very great in the pitch, even though it's kind of a little on the monotone side. It holds your attention. Let's continue.
Thought I'd see you one more time again.
Interesting, no choices.
There's just a few things coming my way this time around.
See, so he's got these really jazzy things that he does too. So it's not just really straight. Check it out.
There's just a few things coming my way this time around.
Right, you can almost seem like a trumpet line doing that line. It's pretty cool.
Thought I'd see you, thought I'd see you.
Anyway, gang, I'm actually loving this series. I hope you guys are liking it as much as I am. I'm just trying to go through, a lifetime of my information, not just vocal singing information. There's obviously that, but also, by the way, he doesn't support that great. But that's okay, because again, as singer-songwriters, they don't really need to, because they're not really projecting that much and they're just selling a story. Is to take these epic pieces, share my life story, my experiences with you, and help to make you a better singer, just appreciate the art of music and the things that I'm appreciating in the process. So thank you for joining me, and definitely check out my next video.